Satnam, and welcome to Divine Alignment and GuruPrem's YouTube site. Today, I'm going to be discussing how to approach stretch pose correctly. I'm going to give you some tips and tools, hopefully, to help you achieve a little more ease in this challenging asana of stretch pose. All right, to begin, using your core correctly. Your core abdominal muscles are the muscles located about 3 fingers below your belly button, in between your hip bones. These muscles draw back towards the spine, and they begin to help elongate the lower back, base of your spine. Pelvic floor lifts, and you've got nice core strength there. The other bit that we're going to work on is neck lock, or Jalandhar Bandh, and opening up the back of the neck. So the chin draws back a little bit and the spine lengthens upward. What we're looking to get here is a bit of traction. So as if the lower spine were being pulled one way and the upper spine being pulled the other direction. And getting traction there to help us maintain stretch pose. I'm going to come laying down on my back. The first thing that I find very handy is visualizing as if a hook were coming up from the ground and hooking around the base of my spine and drawing it down. So really engaging the lower core abdominal muscles, keeping the lower back as close to the ground as possible. If your lower back, when you lift your legs up, starts to move away from the ground, this is not very helpful. It actually compresses the lower back and puts pressure unnecessarily on the lower spine. So if that's what happens to you, you can put your hands under your hips to try and maintain the lengthening of the lower back. So the root lock is engaged, the lower abdominals are drawing back towards the spine, and you're lengthening, setting the foundation of your lower spine. Now what's happening at the top? You want the muscles that hold your head, basically, on your neck. They come down into your heart center, your chest, upper chest, and your upper back. We want those muscles engaged to help lengthen the spine and hold the head 6 inches up off the ground. So, setting a firm foundation, drawing that way, neck elongating, being held by those bigger muscles that run down into your torso. Your feet come 6 inches up off the ground, head 6 inches off the ground, and you begin breath of fire. Now, shaking is normal. It's your nervous system readjusting. The other thing I find really helpful is actually taking stretch pose at its name. Stretch pose, as if you're being pulled or stretched. Somebody at your toes pulling you that way, somebody at the top of your head pulling you that way. At the same time, rooting down at the core. Now, when you root down at the core, when you grow roots down into the core, into the ground from this point, energetically, you're actually pushing down, and the energy that's coming back is going to go both directions. So you're really lengthening and stretching away. This isn't crunch pose. So again, breath of fire. You may notice that there isn't a lot of abdominal movement and the breath of fire is kind of tight. Well, that's because of all of your abdominal muscles being tight. That's totally fine. Now, there are some alternatives that people do to approach stretch pose besides putting your hands under your hips to keep your lower back elongating. Now, if you do this alternative, I don't want to see your shoulders up by your ears. This is tightening the chest and the shoulders and neck rather than lengthening it and keeping the heart center open. The other alternatives that I've come across are putting one leg down or bending your knee. Now, while both of these are alternatives for stretch pose, they're alternatives. I would rather see you go for as long as you possibly can with both of your legs out, really working on the solar plexus and that plexus of nerves that come together here and strengthening your core. And if you have to, come down and come back up again. But if that really is way beyond your limits, then you can choose one of the alternatives. But I'd like to see you keep up. I hope you can find joy and ease in your stretch pose. Satnam.